Hey, we're here in Little Rock, Arkansas, having a great event today with Chris Jones, who's running for office. It really matters a lot. There's a lot of times in the races that we're talking about on the Vote Common Good, Faith, Hope, and Love, not Insurrections and Christian Nationalism Tour, that people don't know the other candidates that are running. You might know Chris Jones, and maybe you're going to want to support him. The person he's running against is Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She's the person who was the press secretary for Donald Trump. She's the person that some of us found so frustrating in the fact that she wasn't telling the truth so often from the press secretary podium. It was really stunning. Well, Chris Jones is running against her. This one really matters because there's too many people who are using Christian nationalism intentionally or sneaking right up to the line. And whichever Sarah Huckabee Sanders is doing, it's clear she's walking up to the line of Christian nationalism. In fact, there are times where it's hard for me to tell, is she running for governor or does she want to run a church? Like, is she just trying to be the Sunday school superintendent at her daddy's church from her childhood? Or is she trying to be somebody that represents the common good for all people in public government? We don't have the luxury of allowing people who want to confuse the role of the government and the role of the church. Look, I mean, I'm a Christian pastor. Some of you watching are Christians yourselves. Some of you are pastors as well. And you know that we want to call people to participate in the civic life. We don't want people to be out of it, but we also don't want our government doing the work that our churches should do. And we don't want our churches having to do the work that our government should do. We can figure this out. In fact, so often our government is not taking care of the needs of people, and it's falling on the backs of nonprofits and churches and people that are trying to do good in the world. So as we're out here calling for people to make faith, hope, and love their guide, we want the separation of churches and the government to be clear, because faith is not owned only by Christians. Sure, faith, hope, and love is what matters, but faith isn't only something for Christians. Hope isn't something that only people of one tradition hold to. Love isn't owned by any one group. It's something that we're all a part of. So that's what we're out here doing. We're out here calling people to the common good. And we're in Arkansas today. You're going to hear from Chris Jones in the prayer at the end tonight. You're going to hear from Chris Jones in a presentation that he gave today. You're going to hear from Jemar Tisby in some biblical reflections for this election. It really matters. So here's our electionary from the road on this Tuesday night here in September in a season that really matters a lot. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Hey, my name is Dr. Jemar Tisby. I'm a historian, author, and speaker. And one of the phrases that I keep coming back to is the phrase, the fierce urgency of now. That might sound familiar to you because Martin Luther King Jr. said it in his most famous speech, the I Have a Dream speech. He said, "We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now." Now, he said that all the way back in 1963. Here we are in the 21st century, and in so many ways, those words still ring true. The fierce urgency of now. Let's just look at the recent past. 2020, we had historic racial justice uprisings. By the numbers, these were the biggest social justice uprisings in the history of our nation. The other interesting fact about these racial justice uprisings in 2020, they were multiracial. In many cases, you had demonstrations that were led by predominantly groups of white people. That's never happened in our history either. On the flip side, you don't just have people pushing for progress, you have people resisting that progress as well. And so another unprecedented event happened on January 6, 2021, an attempted insurrection where people tried to violently and forcibly overturn a legitimate presidential election. So what's happening now is the fierce urgency of now. So much of my work and my passion and what motivates me is to help people live in light of history. We don't just study history, we make history. History is being made right now. And so the question is, what are we waiting for? Especially as people of faith. What are you waiting for to get involved in the campaign, to help register people to vote, to talk to family and co-workers and neighbors, to read the books, to learn the material, to take action, to speak up right now? What are we really waiting for? Maybe instead of the fierce urgency of now, we're feeling fear. We're afraid of what people will say. We're afraid of being rejected from our communities. We're afraid of not getting it right. What if we mess up and say the wrong thing? All of that's legitimate, but what I've learned, the only way around fear is through fear. You have to go through it. And in going through it, you become the type of person who responds to the fierce urgency of now. So, we're living in light of history. A lot of people say, well, if I was alive during the civil rights movement in the 1950s and 60s, I would have marched, I would have protested, I would have boycotted, I would have picketed, I would have taken action. Well, here's the reality. What you're doing right now is exactly what you would have done back then. So, I encourage you, join us on this journey. Let's encourage one another as we respond to the fierce urgency of now.
Hello to all of our Vote Common Good electionary friends and family. I'm Meah Pace, this is Andreoni, and today we'd like to share a song with you that you can take with you in your hearts as you go to the polls this year. These are the words of civil rights activist Ella Baker. This is Ella's song. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Until the killing of black men, black mothers' sons is as important as the killing of white men, white mothers' sons. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Not needing to clutch for power, not needing the light just to shine on me. I need to be just one in the number as we stand against tyranny. To me, young people come first. They have the courage where we fail. If I can just shine a light on as they carry us through the gale. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom, we cannot rest. 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 We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Come on now. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Thank you so much. Be well. Go vote.
May God bless us with discomfort and easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that we may live from deep within our hearts. May God bless us with anger and injustice, oppression, and exploitation of God's creations, so that we may work for justice, freedom, and peace. May God bless us with tears to shed for those who suffer pain, rejection, hunger, and war, so that we may reach out our hands to comfort them and turn their pain into joy. And may God bless us with just enough foolishness to believe that we can make a difference in the world, so that we can do what others claim cannot be done, to bring justice and kindness to all our children and all our neighbors who are poor. Amen.
Hey, thanks y'all for being a part of Electionary with us tonight. We're outside of a Love's gas station. The thing we have to do a lot, which is to fill up our tanks, and we hope this has filled up your tank. Hope you feel encouraged by these great comments from Jemar, from Chris Jones, from Meah and Mario. I mean, what a great treat. We also tried to fill up a campaign and encourage a campaign. I'll show you a little clip of that on our way out tonight. Hope you'll join us again next week. We're going to be on each week and all kinds of times in between. We're holding events all over the country. So there's going to be a lot coming from us. If you're not already on our email list, please consider getting on it. Go to votecommongood.com and you can hop on our email list. And we'd love to stay in touch with you. All of those of you who donate really does go a long way. It's the only way we can be out here doing this work, and it really is helping. Candidates feel encouraged. Voters are starting to move. We know significant things are happening. So thanks for being a part of all this. One of our efforts is something that we call Caffeinated Campaign. We ran into some people when we were riding bicycles across the United States along the U.S.-Mexico border. Some people that produce coffee in Mexico, and struck a partnership with them on something we call Common Good Coffee. And one of the things you can do, you can buy the coffee yourself. It's just top quality. You'll really love it. But one of the things we also do is we ask people if they would send a bag of coffee to campaigns. We normally just send that in the mail, but sometimes we can drop by and drop it off at their office. So just a little fun glimpse of us stopping by the Chris Jones for Governor office, Chris Jones for Governor in Arkansas. Stopped by his campaign office after our event and dropped off some coffee, and here it is. So it's kind of fun. And thanks for all your good work. We will see you from the road sometime soon.
Doug, what are we doing right now?
Hey, we're going to caffeinate a campaign. It's one of our projects on the Vote Common Good website that you can be a part of. This is coffee that is grown in Mexico. We met the producers of this coffee when we were riding across the country on a We the People bike ride from San Diego to the tip of Texas. Tell the story of immigration. And we met the people that produce this coffee. Now we're asking supporters to donate coffee to campaigns to caffeinate them for the election season. We're going to drop these off at the Chris Jones for Governor office in Arkansas. Yes, I was ready for the applause. That's okay. We're not doing it just for you. Yeah. We're kind of recording this and we're going to make. Can I come all the way back here? Yeah. Hello. Hi. We've now come to bring you coffee as a part of our caffeinated coffee campaign. These are growers that we met in Mexico, and we're riding our bicycles across the country. It's Common Good Coffee, and we hope it keeps you all moving. You are welcome.
Would you like a button?
Well, I heard you're making them. Can we see that?
Yes, okay.
Whoa.
Let me make this one.
All right, so walk us through the whole process here.
Yes, I will do that.
And what's your name?
My name's Nancy.
Nancy.
All right, so first you put in a little button top, and then the choice, the color choice.
Yep.
Yes, I'm going to do the light blue.
I've got mine on right here, by the way.
All right, perfect. I have mine on as well. And then you cover it in a little plastic piece. And then you put it back in on the other side. Smash it.
Whoa.
All right, so a little brute force. A little more brute force. And voila, a button.
A brand new button.
Boy, that is cute as a button.
It's perfectly said. Would you like a button? Yes. All right, well, what color does you like?
Well, I like that white with the blue one. Handmade. Thank you.
Okay, Doug, so how did it go?
Great. We were able to deliver some much needed caffeine support to the Chris Jones for Governor campaign. Came out of it with a button. Handmade by Nancy. Thanks, Nancy.
Thanks, Nancy.